Greetings. Thanks for watching. This is Karen Clay, Feldenkrais practitioner. Thanks for joining the second version of this lesson called Connecting the Shoulder. We're going to be working in the same way we were last time with props for the head and the waist. If you're joining now, please watch the lesson prior first because it's meant to go in order. Okay? So here we're going to start by taking our baseline for today, which is again going to be lengthening yourself down on the floor and noticing your shoulder girdle, how it rests on the floor, which shoulder blade is wider. So if you roll yourself around a little bit and feel your spine, feel the sticky outy bones at the back of your back that are part of your vertebra, and then you feel to the right and you feel to the left of them, which one has more space between the shoulder blade and the spine. And then we've asked which one is flatter, which shoulder blade is higher relative to your ears. And then if you take a long, slow, gentle breath, how do you sense the ribs in your upper ribs? Because remember the anatomy pictures, we know that just underneath the collarbones, so if you go to the center of your breastbone, that notch, and you take your hands outward along the collarbones, deep to that is ribs. Way up high here, the circumference of the ribs is about the size of your thumb and index fingers made into a circle. So if you take a long, slow breath, don't try, just sense if there's any movement of your breath in those upper ribs that are connected or underneath or deep to the shoulder blade, and underneath and connected and deep to the collarbone, and beside the head of the humerus. And then we'll start again on the right side. So you have your two pillows. You have your knees bent at 90 degrees. You have your arms straight out in front of you. You're adjusting yourself for comfort. And then you take the arm up to the ceiling again. And let's just review the bidding. So the arm is long, the elbow is straight. You're lengthening the arm to the ceiling by moving the shoulder blade and then sliding the shoulder blade toward the spine. So it's like a closet door that you're sliding open and sliding closed. Now, see what happens as you continue with this movement. If something wants to begin to roll in your ribs, what kind of rolling movement could you make to make this movement easier and to make your fingertips go higher to the ceiling? So just sense what's happening. You can keep your eyes closed. Here's maybe a best way to do it. Just notice what your eyes are doing. Do they go down when you reach and back to the middle, or up when they go up? When your arm goes down, excuse me, let me say that again. When you reach, do your eyes go down towards the floor? And when you lower, do your eyes go back to the neutral place, or maybe even up to the hand? So see if that's happening. And then try to roll forward a little bit as you reach your arm to the ceiling, and roll back a little bit as you lower your shoulder blade towards your spine and lower the arm. So you're lengthening by rolling forward, and you're lowering by rolling back. Rolling forward and reaching, and rolling back and lowering. So now this is the beginning of what we call coordination. This is when parts work together efficiently to create the most comfortable movement. And you'll notice that perhaps your head is also rolling down into the pillow as you reach, and up a little bit as you come back. So you can allow this to become more pleasant, more aesthetically pleasing, and to include more of you in the movement. Now, as a learning tool, let's disorganize the movement. Let's make it less coordinated. So roll your head to look at your hand, and then just take your hand up and down all by itself. Nothing moves. And notice the pinched quality of the movement and how those small muscles around your shoulder blades seem to be working harder than they were before. And that this movement is really more like a calisthenic than it is like a pleasing coordinated movement where the whole choir is singing in harmony. So come back and just take a rest if you need it. Again, you can always rest during this lesson. Just pause your phone and come back. And then when you're ready, your arm comes to the ceiling again, and allow the movement to become coordinated. Allow there to be some play between how the ribs move the arm. So now instead, you could think about the arm moving the ribs. Like if I were a rag doll and somebody picked me up by my arm, everything else about me would hang away from my ragdoll arm. So you could think about it that way, that you're dangling from and being manipulated by your arm as it moves. Or you could pause for a moment and think about driving the movement from your under ribs. So just roll forward and back a little bit where you are. Notice that your top arm moves some. And now if you bring your arm to the ceiling, you can drive the movement of reaching and lowering by how you roll your torso. And you want to feel the bottom side of your pelvis and the bottom side of your rib cage and how they're gathering ground underneath them to make the movement of the arm move towards the ceiling and away from the ceiling. So just continue to repeat and refine. This may be the first time that you've ever felt the bottom side of your rib cage, the bottom side of your armpit, and how they connect to the ground. You could also imagine a light coming out of your breastbone that shines towards the floor and a little bit towards the ceiling. So that flashlight beam is moving as your arm moves. You're still suspended from the ceiling. Okay, great. Now, pause for just a moment. And actually, I think we're going to call that good for now. So let's come on to the back again, please, and take another baseline. This is a post test to just notice the difference between your right and your left shoulder. How much of your rib cage you feel against the floor, the width between the right shoulder blade and the spine. Maybe you have more of a sense of openness in the front of your chest. So that's where we'll stop today. Make sure you do the other side as well, and I'll see you next week. Thanks so much for watching.